So we're really honored to have Diana Stepner. She is a Silicon Valley native who believes in the power of putting people first. For over 20 years, she's been building global product teams, discovering that launching people is even more rewarding than launching products. And that awareness has led her to focus on coaching, combining extensive product leadership experience with a human-centered approach in order to help ambitious product leaders like us unlock their full potential. Diana's worked at a ton of different companies, including startups like Epiphany and Cheap Flights, and she's worked in enterprise organizations like Salesforce, Monster, Pearson, a number of digital agencies like Razorfish, and software consulting. She has her MIMS from UC Berkeley and an MBA from Boston University, and she has an ACC from the International Coaching Federation. And tonight she's going to be talking to us about how we advance product management. So, welcome.
So I'm going to start by telling you guys a story. And as you can see, I've been around product for quite a long time. And actually, I was one of the people who was at the original Mind the Product meetups. I worked at Monster, and the founders of Mind the Product also worked at Monster. And so in the very beginning, we would go to a bar near the office and hold the meetups. And so I was there right in the beginning. It's actually how I met my husband. I spilled wine on his tie, and we are now married. So I'm not saying to spill wine on anyone's tie or anything along those lines, but just product communities are amazing because they've been around for a long time, and they're still going strong. And I think that gives a lot of credit, a lot of insight to just product people in general. And product 20 years ago is not the same as product today. But what we all remain centered around is trying to build the best products for our customers. And so we've got that central thesis that guides us forward. And so building on the community elements, we're going to do something interesting today. Instead of just me talking at you, I want to talk with you. And so we're going to do some questions, and I want to know what you guys think. I want to know your answers, and then I'll chime in too. And that, I think, is the power of product, because there isn't one right way to do product. Everything depends on the company you're at, the context, and let's be honest, how you feel that day. But there's so much power we all bring to product. It's really amazing to come together in spaces like this and learn from each other. Okay? So, we already learned about me, so I'm not going to, put more information about me again. But I'm from here, and so that's one thing to think about. My whole focus is on technology. I grew up in Cupertino. I love technology. I tried to be a programmer. I just don't think that way. I just go all over the place. I do not think logically. And so the thing that really fascinated me was, how do people work with technology? What is it that really makes people excited about a product? What makes people want to share a product? What makes people just want to use a product because they know it's going to make their life easier and better? And so that's the trajectory throughout my career. There's always been a product piece. And I can say it took me a while to get to product. And that's one thing that I'll highlight to you guys as we talk today, is that there isn't one straight path into product. It often twists and it often turns. For me, I got into product through user experience research. I was working at a startup, and it was a startup for marketers, coded by, logically, engineers. But the interface was all engineering terms, and the marketers had no idea what the product was supposed to do. They knew from the sales pitch what they hoped it would do, but the interface made no sense. And so I got a degree in human-computer interaction to help understand the mental models and really help bring customers into the creation of the products. And then my first job was a user experience researcher. I loved it. Just being able to talk to people and suss out all those insights was amazing. But I kept handing my ideas over to product people And then they would go do stuff with them. And so I got to a point where I'm like, why aren't I working with, other product people? Why aren't I working with engineers? Why aren't I working with marketing? So my next job, I was a product manager. So that's kind of a little bit more about me. And as talked about, we're going to talk about next-gen product management. And I wrote a book with 2 other people. And so I've got copies of the book up here if you want to flip through pages, that type of thing. But it's all about where product management has been, where it is now, and where it's going to. And we thought that was really important because things build on the past. The past informs the future. And so it's really helpful to understand where product has been. And then we highlight where it is today. What are the trends? What are the factors that are leading to people being successful in product management today? And then we talk about the future too. One of the questions that people often ask is, why isn't your book all about AI? And we said, well, if we published a book about AI, it'd be out of date as soon as it was published. And so we reference AI. And that's one of the things about product people. We do get involved with the trends and the developments. I mean, we're all exploring AI now, but you got to keep focused on the user. You got to keep focused on the customer because the next flashy thing will come along too. And so it's really, really important to understand where product has been, where it is now, where it's going to, but to do so in a lens that puts the customer front and center because they're the ones who are really there to serve. So we're going to have 5 questions, but as I said, we're going to do this in an interactive format. I'll obviously give you my views and my opinions, but I want to learn from you guys too. And then again, we're doing that because that is the power of product, learning from each other. There's so many people here. It's a great way to be able to build all of our insight and help to reinforce the community that we're part of. So, as I said, wrote a book with 2 other people, and we talked about 3 different generations. So again, where it's been, where it is, where it's going to. And then we did so with the lens of helping people future-proof their product career. And that theme throughout was one of the things that Jerry said about me in the beginning. My whole focus is on people. And a lot of folks think that's kind of weird. But from a product perspective, as I've probably said 14 times now, it's all about the customer. It's all about the person. And so that's one of the key themes about our book that differentiates it from others. Throughout, you'll see the references to being human-centered, people first. And that's because we really do believe it's the people, it's everybody in this room that makes products special. Technology is amazing. The design brings it to life. But the glue between both of those, that's all of you. And so the product people, the people element, is really what makes products stand out. So the 2 other people that were part of it, Teresa and Bart, if you want to learn more about the book, got a QR code. We've got a lot of QR codes today, so you can scan it to learn more about the book. But Teresa wrote a book on the 2-hour design sprint. And so helping people understand how much creativity, how many ideas, how much you could do just in 2 hours. And so you may be familiar with the 5-day sprint that Google Ventures created. This narrows it down to 2 hours. Because to be honest, how much time can you really get people to spend in one room together? You're lucky if you can get them there for 2 hours. And that seemed to be a good sweet spot. And so Teresa wrote a book on how much you can accomplish in a 2-hour design sprint. Bart is in Poland, and you may have heard of him. He's really, really good at teaching people product management. And so he's got a lot of insight just around how to be a product manager. Again, he's got a twisting and turning experience to get into product, as does Teresa. But Bart's got an incredible background around helping people become better product managers. And so the 3 of us got together to write this book. So, top 5 questions. We're going to do that. So you guys ready to participate? Yeah. Yes? Okay. Thank you in the back. One of the things that I will highlight, it's a bonus question. Do folks know what this image is referring to? So that's, no? All right. Fortune cookies. There's this joke about fortune cookies that you say in bed at the end of fortune cookies. And so this is an image of a fortune cookie in bed. Got it? But the question is, what about AI? That's probably what everyone's going to ask. And so I'm using that as a metaphor because just add every question. You can put, what about AI on it? Or just, like you say, fortune cookie, whatever it may be, embed. You can answer any question and add on AI at the end. So I will talk about AI, but I just want to say my whole talk, what we wrote in the book, isn't all about AI. You can just pretend that, this all fuels from, thinking about how you can tack AI onto everything, just kind of how you could do embed for the fortune cookies. All right, so question for you guys. How does culture impact product development? What do you guys think? What are some things that come to mind?
Company culture or country culture, societal culture?
Good question. Choose one.
Well, company culture impacts what the company actually has an appetite to do, regardless of what you've researched.
Cool. More? What do you guys think? Build on it. Something new.
Speed of product development.
Say that again.
Speed of product development.
Okay. Culture impacts the speed of product delivery. What else?
Whether or not the company actually focuses on talking to their customers or just building what they think their customers want.
Love it. You guys got it. Keep going.
I think different customers and different cultures also have different needs.
Okay. Awesome. Has anyone been in a culture that wasn't that great? Okay. How did that? Yeah, we'll have that in a later slide. But how did that not so great impact your product life? Say that?
Made it stressful.
Yeah. So as we can see, culture has a huge impact on how we do product development. It makes us excited to get up in the morning. It makes us wish we could go run and hide. It makes us want to sit in one of these rooms and never come out. But culture is really just people. And so one of the things that we highlight in the book is that culture is like water. You really don't think about it until it's not that great or till it's not there. But the water around us gives us energy and enables us to feel like we could do a lot. It makes us feel really powerful. But when the culture sucks, chances are we don't feel that great either. And so one of the things that we talk about in the book is that there used to be this philosophy that metrics were the only thing. And you could measure your culture, based on retention. You could measure your employee satisfaction scores. But everybody knows how to game those systems. And so what we're highlighting in the book is it's actually those elements that make you want to share your product, makes you want to talk about your product when you're with people at the bar, when you're hanging out at an event like this, when you're just doing things for fun, you think of your product. And so culture has so much more of an impact on people than we really, really think. And the other part around culture is that anyone could be an agent of change. We think we're in a big organization, that we can't adjust it, that we can't have any impact on it. But there's a fact that you, one person, could make a difference. All you need to do is reach out to someone else like you. And so that connection you have to another person can then spawn another connection. And so you get to a point where you've got 3% of the company. And again, that number of what 3% means varies based on the company that you're in. But as soon as you have 3% of the people, it snowballs. And so you can be a change agent for your company with just 3% of the people. All you need to do is find someone like you. And so, for example, when I was at Simple Practice, I joined when all the founders were there. There were 3 founders. They were amazing. Simple Practice is a mental health and wellness company designed for practitioners. And one of the founders had been a therapist. And he was like, I'm spending all my time trying to duct tape all of these different tools and systems together, and I'm not spending times with my clients. And so he's like, there got to be something out there. And he did a search, and he didn't find anything that was easy for him to use. So they created Simple Practice. And it was one of those, quote, startups that had been around for 9 years. And then COVID hit, and everybody went into telehealth. And Simple Practice just skyrocketed. The founders started to leave. And so when I joined, I had 5 managers in a year. And the culture changed. And there wasn't as much excitement. The mission differed. It was no longer about the customers, it was about revenue. And I'm in no way, shape, or form saying that revenue isn't important. It 1,000% is. But I'm one of those people that believes if the company is encouraging individuals to shine, then that will show up in the revenue. And so what I did was I worked with the product team. So I headed up product and design, and we created our own culture. We had hours of learning, so we could learn from each other. We read books. We talked about the books. We all read, Marty Kagan's Empowered, and we read Teresa Torres's Continuous Discovery. So we all got together to learn from each other. The other thing that we did is we shared insight. That may sound like a simple thing, but it wasn't happening before. And so on Wednesdays, we got together and we did market research share-outs. And that means if somebody interviewed a customer, they would share that insight. And you might be like, well, it's a different product. What does it matter? But it's the same customer. And so we all shared knowledge about the different interactions that we were having with our customers, because you never know where that spark is going to come from. And so we created this culture of sharing and collaboration, and we brought in other teams to teach us about what they did so we could learn more about product marketing and we could learn more about engineering. And we had all of this knowledge. And guess what? Other teams started to do it too. And just because we started it, it started to change the culture. So you can do a lot just by finding a couple people, starting with one person like you. You can change the culture. Oops. Okay, cool. Whoever's laptop this is, you're getting a call from somebody, but I'm not going to answer it. All right. What does the future of product management hold? What do you guys think?
Depends on who you believe.
What do you believe?
I said depends on who you believe.
Yeah. What do you believe?
I'll let somebody else.
What do you guys think the future of product management is going to be? You guys are all here for a reason. What do you think?
I think that product managers will have to level up their technical and design skills. I think designers have to level up their product skills and engineering skills. I think that engineers have to level up their product skills. I think all of us have to get better at those cross-disciplinary overlaps that have worked okay to be siloed up till now. I think we're all going to have to become more broadly skilled.
Wait, what about AI? Sorry.
Yay! Somebody got my joke.
Up-leveling those skills
Yeah.
is actually quite a bit easier with the state of AI. And I come from technical into product.
Yeah.
I don't have as much design, but there's like so much that I'm learning,
Yeah.
having to learn very quickly, and this will help.
Totally. Have you guys tried Lovable? Okay, yeah. Lovable. Yeah, if you haven't tried it, try it. I mean, exactly as you're saying, like you can build a website with a prompt.
Cursor.
Yeah.
Cursor or Replit.
Yeah.
Replit, cursor.
It's pretty cool.
Kind of going back to what you were saying about people, I think we really have to start owning stakeholder relationships.
Yeah. Very, very true.
I also feel like product manager become less dependent on other teams.
Yeah.
Like using AI, you don't have to wait for UX to come back to show like 5 prototypes.
Yeah.
You can do it by yourself and then present it kind of. That is like helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that part of what we have to look at is the difference between what is the future for product managers and what is the future for product management.
Say more.
Because, well, I think that more and more people are going to start to take on product management tasks and roles.
Okay.
But I think that especially as the product managers in an organization, part of our job is going to be to make sure that those people are doing product management well, to teach them if need be. So I think that there's going to be an expanded leadership role for product managers.
Cool. Love it. Yeah, back.
Oh,
Go for it. Yeah.
So product managers, when I started about 10 years ago, learned problem solving. I don't think that's going to change. It will still be the problem solving team or the problem solving person. How you do it, what tools you use it, definitely evolving.